Ladies and gentlemen, 1 year ago, it took the Oilers 4 games to get themselves a win against the Panthers in the finals. In 2025, it only took them 1.3, pretty much, because the Edmonton Oilers have defeated the Florida Panthers in game number 1, 4-3 in overtime. And the narratives about this game, the vibes about this game, I wanted to go over some of the ideas that were tossed out there, some of the ways that people were thinking about this contest as it went on, as well as the results, because of course, Edmonton, Canada's team, if you wanted to say that. I know a lot of folks would disagree with that, but still, Canada's team up 1-0 against the reigning, defending Stanley Cup champions in Florida in a game where, honestly, the more I think about it, the more I digest what we had just seen, I feel like this game was right down the middle. Both teams had so much going for them. They had their moments, they had their chances, they had opportunities. But ultimately, it's the Oilers and Leon Draisaitl. Draisaitl started it just a few seconds into the first, and Draisaitl ended it with just a few seconds left in the first overtime. 4-3 is your final score. And in this game, I feel like a lot of fans went through a huge roller coaster of emotions, starting out with the first goal of the game scored by Draisaitl. All it took was 1 minute for Leon to get his 8th of the entire postseason, assisted here by Kasperi Kapanen and Jake Walman. Puck finds itself back over to Walman at the point. He drives it towards the goal. Kapanen on the rebound tries to bang it home. Second rebound is out for the side, and Leon Draisaitl is there to bury it. This goal kind of exemplified a lot of what Edmonton had going for them throughout this game. Hard forechecking, finishing their checks, just really making things difficult for the Panthers to move the puck out of the zone smoothly, and absolutely being hounds on the rebound. Kasperi Kapanen and Draisaitl both cashing in with points on that first goal. But whilst the Oilers had themselves the 1-0 lead, things took a big shift in the game 9 minutes later, because you had yourselves Sam Bennett tying things up 1-1 in a really controversial goal as Carter Verhaeghe comes in with the shot, and it ends up beating Stuart Skinner. Although, if you watch the replay, Sam Bennett is out there battling in front with Walman. He falls backwards into Skinner. Looks like Walman might have tugged at his stick a little bit to cause that to go down. Might have checked him in the leg a little too. And Bennett, falling backwards into Stu Skinner, knocks into the Oilers goaltender. Looks like he got his foot on the puck, and that is deemed a good goal. There was a challenge for goaltender interference, which was very obvious in my opinion. I mean, I did think that Bennett touched Skinner. He's the reason Skinner fell down. But I think the ruling has to have been here, hey, because it was Walman that was battling it out with Bennett, Walman kind of caused Bennett to fall down in a way, they deemed it a good goal. And as a result, the Panthers got a power play, and that is where 2 minutes later you saw Brad Marchand putting the puck in on a beautiful Nate Schmidt feed, backdoor, cross crease. I saw a lot of fans on social media saying, hey, wait a minute, this could be the turning point here. Because Stu Skinner allowed 2 goals in the first 5 shots of the game for the Florida Panthers in the first period. And after the Oilers failed the challenge, that's where they ended up getting that second goal scored against. It didn't make things any better when Sam Bennett scored 2 minutes into the second period. This was the 8th shot of the game. Off a bad, brutal turnover in the Panther zone, there's a 2-on-1. It becomes a breakaway for Bennett, who takes the puck, comes in, shoots, and drives it by. He ends up making it 3-1. Stuart Skinner allows 3 goals on 8 shots in the opening 22 minutes of the game. And a lot of folks start to think, okay, here we go again. This is just Panthers hockey shutting things down, is it not? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, but that wasn't the thought for long. Because just a minute later, you had Viktor Arvidsson assisted by Vasili Podkolzin and Evan Bouchard, controlling the puck after a failed Panthers rush. Podkolzin gets the puck in the neutral zone, drops it off for Arvidsson, who walks right in and just slaps it right by Sergei Bobrovsky. You don't see those kinds of goals scored much nowadays in the National Hockey League. It's deemed by some as a low likelihood chance. But Arvidsson comes in from the blue line area of the boards, walks right in, and just drives it. He shoots the puck before he even enters the faceoff circle. It's that far out. It catches Bob off guard. The opening was there. Arvidsson makes it 3-2, and then something miraculous happened. Stuart Skinner, after letting in 3 goals on 8 shots, continues to stop the next 24 that headed his way, including a whole bunch more in that second period. Stu Skinner started to make save after save after save. Bobrovsky, of course, making his own saves too, keeping this a very tight game. But in the third period, hey, guess what? Stu Skinner, he only made 2 saves in the third. Because the Oilers had 14 shots to 2. Edmonton totally turned it on in period number 3. And it's ultimately Mattias Ekholm who ties the game up all at 3. Connor McDavid with the primary assist. You can debate whether or not McDavid was trying to find Kane in front, but ultimately the puck squeaks by over to Ekholm. He has an open shot. He shoots. He scores. Welcome back, Mattias, into the Oilers lineup. And the Oilers have it 3-3 partway through the third. There aren't any other goals scored here in this third period. And then in the overtime, this is where we saw a tale of 2 games one more time. Because in regulation, Florida was up 3-1. It looked so good for Florida at the start of the second, but then the Oilers battled back and they retook control. They regained their composure. They were able to use that experience from last year and say, hey, we're not going to choke this away. We had a 3-0 deficit last year. Let's not make it that difficult for us again. Let's claw back, let's get back into it, and let's get on the board. And that is what they did in regulation. In overtime, though, Paul Maurice's Cats came out with a vengeance. They just went turbo mode with shot after shot after shot after high danger opportunity after scoring opportunity. Oh my goodness, the level of chances that the Oilers were giving up here, it was incredible. But Stu Skinner made the saves, and then the Oilers halfway through the overtime started to claw back, and that is when they really started putting more of the pressure on Bob. Inevitably, the puck gets tossed over the glass, and it's a really unlucky, unfortunate play. A penalty given out to Thomas Nosek. Delay a game, puck over the glass. You can debate that Vasili Podkolzin got a stick in there, but no, it was clean. It was straight out. And on the power play, in the last minute of the overtime, it's Corey Perry with a beautiful little backhand tip pass over to Connor McDavid. He then throws it out, sauces it, backdoor. Beautiful play cross crease for Leon Draisaitl. The 1T, the goal. With 31 seconds left in the first overtime, Draisaitl makes it 4-3, and the Oilers win Game 1. Big shout out over to Vasili Podkolzin too. Not only did he cause the puck to go over the glass by getting his stick in there on Nosek, but he also had a really beautiful chance to get things done in the third period. He drove to the net, just kind of pushed his shoulder down, leaned into Gustav Forsling, drove to the net, and then tried to shove it 5-hole. It didn't work, but my gosh, was Vasili Podkolzin a wrecking ball in this game. Multiple hits as well. What a legendary Game 1 performance for a former Vancouver Canucks player. So with all this in mind, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel that Edmonton is up 1-0 in the Stanley Cup Finals? This is already magnitudes ahead of what they had accomplished last year, because last year, they were up none. They didn't have any lead in the series last year against the Panthers. This time around, they've got that 1-0 to show for it. So with all that in mind, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.